Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm your host, Paula Taylor, and this is episode 83. So before we get into tonight's topic, I want to talk about the last couple of days and what's been going on with this 2/22/22 portal. And I had quite a journey just getting to the show tonight. I had all these different things. I was like, I'm going to pull a card. And I was like kind of all over the place. And then I realized I knew exactly what I wanted to say, what I needed to say, and I don't need to pull a card for that. I just needed to get into stillness, and that's what I want to talk about. So I've mentioned before, numbers are not my expertise. I like numbers. I think they're really cool. I see a lot of repeating 44s this year, and I'm turning 44 this year, so maybe that's why. I actually didn't realize that till a few weeks ago. I was like, how old am I? I always forget. But I've seen a lot of repeating 2s and 4s and 8s. And I think it's cool, and I like to read about it. If you want to read more about what I'm talking about in terms of the numerology of it, you can get all sorts of really interesting information on the internet. But yesterday felt like an important day. And it's interesting, I was working in my medical job and I could feel it in the people I was interacting with I'm not interacting in this kind of quote unquote healing. It's funny that I don't think of the medical community as healing, but unfortunately it's a corporate world essentially. So there's a lot of rules and it's kind of very narrow. And so I don't typically feel a lot of expansion in that. And some of that is me, and I've talked about that and kind of integrating the different parts of myself. And so some of that is a projection of what I've been dealing with. But I noticed people were kind of saying things like, oh, today feels exciting. Today, this feels like a really good day. And so there was this palindromic date because most of the world puts their dates before their month. So it's 22/02 of 2022. So that's the same forward and backwards. And then if you're into repeating numbers, it was 2/22 of 22. And so what I want to say is what people are calling this is a portal. And again, I don't know a lot about numerology and portals, but I know a lot about portals because dimensional frequency expansion comes in through a portal. And I work with portals when I do expansion ceremonies with people. I actually place portals in different parts of the body, in the hands and the heart, to open to this frequency, to these dimensional frequencies that come in. And portals are extremely powerful. I mean, a portal is basically a door, right? It's a door for energy to come in. That's what we're talking about in these terms. And as we've talked about on the show, when you have a powerful shift, so you have this portal, you have this opportunity to call this energy in, to really shift. And a lot of us run right past that shift without even noticing that we have the opportunity to shift because we're always in motion. We're always distracted. We're always doing. We're in this sort of environment where we've been told we have to be constantly productive. I pulled this card for my business the other day. I saw this really cool idea about pulling tarot cards for your business, like a weekly reading or a monthly reading or whatever. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. I pull cards for myself, and because I am my business, sometimes I don't kind of separate them. But I did a reading just for my business the other day, and the first card I pulled was from my Zen Osho tarot, and it said laziness. And I was like, oh, well, I haven't really been doing much. I kind of took some time off after Emmett died. I was like, I didn't have any other classes scheduled. I had the intention to schedule more classes. I haven't done it yet. But essentially what the message of the card was, and even as I looked at it and then I kind of read it, what sometimes looks like laziness from the outside, what looks like just somebody lounging around and not doing anything, is really this deep integration work, this work of incorporating a shift, of integrating a shift into your life, into your energy. And that requires stillness. It requires rest. It requires silence. So we had this huge portal yesterday, this opportunity to invite energetic shift into our being. But in order to take advantage of that, we need to be still. We need to rest. We may look like we're being lazy, but that is this capitalist productive sort of view of, you have to be doing, you have to earn your worth, do. And I see it even in the new age community, the healing community that I sort of see reflected back to me in my social media. There's people, they're posting, and they have classes and they're doing all this, and there's a lot of doing. And doing is important. Of course we do. That is part of our lives. But what is coming to me as part of this portal, and as that reading, the rest of that reading I got the other day, was that if we can be still and we can expand our frequency, then things will begin to come to us. We don't have to run after things. When we're still and we wait and we expand, then the shift comes to us. Then we have the time and the opportunity to settle into that shift, to integrate that shift. So if you're feeling a little weird today, if the energy feels a little bit off, if you're having some anxiety or you're having some physical symptoms, that is probably because of this shift. You're being invited. Yesterday, that portal opened. It invited you to shift. And now things are happening. Like, notice. You can shift, but you have to notice. So you get caught in a 45-minute traffic jam, which happened to me earlier today, where literally, like, there was construction, it was stopped. I thought, I'll just turn around and go. There's another road right there. I went down that road. There was an accident. It was completely backed up. And it was like, wait a minute, this is a message to me to slow down. I am not going anywhere anytime soon. So I ended up putting on last week's show. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I put on the podcast of last week's show, and I listened to last week's show, and I did the meditation, and I settled into the shift. And some of the symptoms that I was having, kind of a headache and like this sinus pressure and just feeling like off and kind of, and like, what is happening? Why can't I get where I need to go? It's because I needed to go nowhere. I needed to do nothing. I needed to sit and be still and allow the shift to happen. Get out of the way and let that shift happen. Let that integration happen. So that's what I was called to say kind of about this portal and this shift that's been going on. But what I want to talk about tonight, our topic for tonight, I entitled this episode Singing for Joy. Last week it was Singing for Grief. And this week we're going to sing for joy. And there's no difference. And that is crazy. That sounds like crazy talk. So I want to get into that a little bit. And I listened to the show from last week, like I just said earlier today. And as I did the meditation, because sometimes I'm guiding the meditation, it's kind of channeling through me. And so I'm kind of in the meditation, but I'm also a little bit in my head and keeping things moving. And so I do like to go back and sometimes fully get into the meditation, sit in the stillness of the meditation where I'm not actually actively channeling the meditation. And what I found was, I think what the key that will allow me to talk about what I want to talk about, which is that when I got into the meditation for last week and I started hearing myself talk about calling your beloved in before I started singing for grief, which is really joy, which is really love, I started gathering my beloveds, and all of these beloveds came to me. My Emmett and Henry, my dogs, came to me, and it's gonna make me cry. My dad came to me, and my son Evan came to me, and all my babies came to me. And then there was like layers, and then my aunts and my uncles and my grandparents and their grandparents, and there was just this amazing joyful group. And there was so much joy in that meditation, which was a meditation for grief. But we talked about how grief is born out of love. And so when we can take that grief vibration, which we talked about last week, I talked about the vibration of love as this expansive, beautiful, wide open vibration. And what happens when we lose someone is that wide open vibration of love kind of collapses in on itself. And I called it a black hole. And it pulls all the light out of the room. And it's really heavy. And it's really easy to get stuck there. But when we can do this spiritual work and use our spiritual tools, I talked about using my emerald layer of dimensional frequency expansion to sing to my grief, to move that energy of grief. What happened was that black hole of grief expanded back out. It turned itself back around into this beautiful, expanded, joyful expression of love. And so what I realized is there's no difference between grief and joy. We experience it differently. We feel it differently. And I want to be clear, if you are not with me on this, hear me out, but also be where you are. If you are in grief and you're in that heaviness and that black hole, and like I have been there, I will be there again. Let me sing some expansion to you tonight. And hold on to the idea that there's a potential for joy there. You might not feel it. You might not be there. That movement might not be happening yet. That expansion might not be happening yet. But the potential is there. The potential for taking that tightness, that beautiful, loving vibration that we had for our beloved that we lost, that folds in on itself, that turns itself inside out and starts to pull inward and get stuck. When we can move energy in whatever way we can move energy, I'm always going to suggest sound, but last week I also talked about movement, talking, breathing, all of these things that allow that energy to move. Emoting is really, really important. Letting yourself cry moves energy. So all of these things, as we can move energy, we have the opportunity to take that dense, tight, black hole of grief and turn it back around into expansion. And again, if you're not there, that's okay. Just hear my words, let them come kind of they'll come into your field. That's the wonderful thing about vibration. I was talking to my friend the other day and I said, I like to listen to the podcasts of my show sometimes while I'm working in my medical job. And I can't stop and fully be in the meditation, but the vibration of the meditation moves my energetic field. It's kind of like that idea of, there used to be this old joke about like putting a book under your pillow and sleeping on it, and then you'd have all the information. Sound is vibration. So listening to sounds that move energy, whether that's my show, whether that's other podcasts that are expansive, even if you're not able to fully be present and pay attention, the vibration starts to shift. So let the vibration of what I'm talking about, and later my singing, just let that come into your field. Have an open mind about this. Because if you're deeply in grief, if you're in that acute sorrow of grief, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, grief is joy. Like you could be like, F you, lady. And like, yeah, that is a completely reasonable response to that. You might not be there. You might not be here where I am with me. But the point I want to make is that you can get there. And we get there through movement. We get there through letting the energy move. We get there through expansion. We get there through calling in these beautiful dimensional frequencies that expand and expand and expand. I'm working right now on the 7th layer for myself, which is the celestite layer, and that's a high heart opening. And this high heart chakra, some people call it the Christ chakra or the God chakra. You may have heard the term Christ consciousness or God consciousness. So this is a hugely loving opening of true unconditional love, of love beyond the ego. And I feel like that's where I am with this grief. I absolutely miss the people I've lost, the animals I lost. I miss Emmett every day. I wake up and I look and he's not there. And that part of the grief is still there, but I feel him. I know beyond this physical realm that he's right here. He's still with me. And that love brings me so much joy in the grief. And to the point that I almost started feeling guilty about it. I said to my husband, like, God, I feel like I should feel worse. But first of all, I know that he doesn't want that for me. Your beloved does not want you to be in pain when they are gone. Most of the time, The minute that they leave their bodies, any pain that they ever had is gone, emotionally and physically. And it's all expansion and it's all love. And I have seen that myself, especially with animals, because they don't carry the layers of kind of grief and shame and guilt and, like blah, that we sort of collect throughout our lives. Sometimes it takes them a little while to kind of shed that heaviness, but they get there. Everybody gets there. Every single person, animal that I have ever communicated with who has left their physical body is in a state of joy and unconditional love. And there's no reason that we cannot get into that same state here. It takes some work here. This is a dense place. The energy of the earth is dense. And so it's an unlearning, it's a shedding, it's a continual process of expanding and letting go and letting all those old kind of dense frequencies that don't serve us, that muddiness, letting that go, opening to this beautiful love that's available to us. And that love is transforming my life to joy. I posted a video for this episode of Emmett with his head out the window and the wind blowing through his hair. And that is the joy that I feel from him. That is the joy that I feel in my memories of him. And it's funny, it makes me cry just like grief does, right? But it's such an expansive feeling that it's almost overwhelming. And so I sit with it. I sit in it. And I continue to allow myself to move and to expand, and the joy gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I want to sing for that joy. And what you're going to hear is almost no difference, I think. I mean, the song will be different because it's spontaneous and it comes through me, and whatever I sing will happen, that will happen as it's meant to. But the love that's underneath it is the same. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Grief is born out of love. And love is expansive. So even when it feels heavy and sad and the sorrow is there, the love is still there. That expansion is still there. The joy in and the gratitude of having this being in your life, of the experiences that you had with them, of the fact that they are no longer suffering. That's one of the things that I realized, that Emmett was really sick and it happened, kind of incrementally. So it was kind of our normal, right? But now that he's not here, it's like, man, he was ready. It was time for him. And that is what death is. When people are ready, they go. And sometimes it's hard to understand that because it happened to my babies. Why were they ready to go? I don't know, but they were. And there's joy in that if you can sit in the stillness and let yourself expand and feel into the unconditional love. I had love for those babies, even though they were only here for weeks. And I feel them. I did that meditation and they were with me. And all of these generations of ancestors, and I just am floored by it. There is so much support for us beyond what we can see with our eyes. And I'm not sure if I'm even making sense tonight, but I feel like I am. And again, the vibration of what I'm saying is coming through, even if the words are not making sense. And one more time, I want to say, if you are not there, be where you are. Trying to be something you're not is not joy, is not love, is not expansive. I did that for a long time. And that's some of this joy is me shedding that, like, I'm not going to be who I'm not anymore. I'm going to be who I am. And so if you are in a place where you still feel heavy and you still feel that darkness, the only way out of that is through it. And that sounds like what does that mean? That means you got to feel those feelings. But if you can let them flow instead of pushing them down, that's what we do. Because oh, this is uncomfortable and I don't like it. Oh, I have to go to work and I can't be crying at work. Oh, what will people think of me? We got to let go of that stuff. Let everything out. Let it flow. And that is how we get through it. Move your body. Move your voice, use your voice. We got to let go of the hang-ups around using our voice too. And you will get there. You will get back to a place where you feel joy again. And so my invitation tonight, just as I invited you last week to receive, my invitation for you tonight, for tonight's meditation, is to receive my joy, and allow it to just come into your field. It doesn't have to shift where you're at right now. It's a portal. It's an opening. It's an invitation to let this unconditional love, these frequencies, these vibrations of expanded, truly unconditional, non-transactional love come into your being. And the experience of that, if you can stay present with it and open to it, will completely alter your experience of life, as it has for me. So tonight's meditation is going to be, I think, similar to last week's. We're going to get into the body. We're going to get into ease as we normally do. And then just like last week, I'm going to sing. And again, I'm going to sing for joy. And there may be a quality difference or a pitch difference. You know, you may feel the difference, but really singing for grief and singing for joy is all about love. I'm singing for love. I'm singing for unconditional love. I'm singing for your unconditional love and acceptance of yourself, for our unconditional love and acceptance of this cycle of life, which means that we will die, that those that we love will die, but also the unconditional love that is the energy that never dies. That means that no energy is ever lost. And so that means the energy of your beloved, of my beloveds, are still here, right here, whether we can see or feel them. So let's meditate together. So get yourself nice and comfortable. Lay down if you'd like. Fall asleep if that comes to you. You can always come back and repeat this meditation as many times as you'd like. If you're sitting up, let yourself be supported. Maybe lean up against something or put something underneath your bottom or your knees. Invite that unconditional love first to come into your body and allow it to relax. Allow that tension that you've been carrying all day and all week and all year. Invite that to release. Invite your body to relax. And then take 3 of those nice deep oxytocin breaths. Breathing in through the nose, letting the belly float out strongly. And then as you sigh that out, let that pitch fall from high to low, vibrating the vagus nerve, bringing you out of that fight, flight, or freeze and into that ease response. Do that a few more times. Let's do 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 of those tonight. Just breathing like this can shift you out of that contraction and into expansion, out of fear and into love, out of tension and into ease. Move around as you'd like, as you're called to, as you release energy and tension. Sometimes your body calls for you to move a little bit or shake. Allow that crown chakra, the top of your head, to open, that portal at the top of your head to open, and invite in unconditional love, which we call by so many names: God, the divine, Reiki, Ki, Chi, Prana, light. It's all the same thing, just seen with different frameworks, spoken in different ways. Invite that beautiful unconditional love, that joy, to flow in through the top of your head. Let it fill your face and your brain, your neck and your throat and your jaw. Take a deep breath directly into your jaw, and as you sigh it out, Invite the tension in your jaw to release. Let that light come into your shoulders. Let it flow down your arms and into your hands. Invite that beautiful unconditional love to flow in through your chest and upper back, down into the belly, mid back and low back, low belly. Stop here again and take another deep breath all the way into your torso. And then as you sigh it out, release the tension that you're holding in your belly. Release the tension that you're holding in your back. And then let that light flow into your hips and your pelvis. Let it flow down your thighs and into your knees. Take another deep breath here into your knees. And as you sigh it out, release the tension you're carrying in your knees. That need to produce, to move forward, that you're holding in your legs, that you're holding in your knees, let that go, even if it's just for a few moments here. Let that beautiful love flow down your lower legs into your ankles and feet. Let it go all the way down into the earth, mingling with that beautiful, rich earth energy. The density of that energy still serves us, even though it's dense. There's expansion in that beautiful earth energy. Let yourself feel that. Let that energy come into your body and allow you to feel heavy and relaxed and supported. And then if you're familiar with it, you can travel to your waterfall of joy or bring it to you. If you've never done that before, just imagine the most beautiful waterfall you've ever seen. This is your special waterfall of joy. The water that falls down this waterfall is joy. It is bliss. It is that beautiful unconditional light and love. So allow yourself to interact with this waterfall in whatever way you choose through my song. You can sit just in the presence of this beautiful waterfall of joy, listening to it, letting that vibration of joy enter your energetic fields in your body. You can run right into it and sit under the water and let that water cascade down over your head and your shoulders. Beautiful warmth and light here. You can choose to sit at the edge of the waterfall and just kind of dip your feet into the water. Let your intuition guide you here. But know that wherever you choose to be, this joy is coming into your system. Look around a little bit. Notice what your waterfall looks like. Notice what the surroundings look like. Notice how safe you are here. Nothing else can come into this space without your permission. No one else can come here unless you invite them. Nothing can hurt you in this space. This is a pure space of joy. Pure joy, pure bliss, pure love, unconditional love, life force energy, God, whatever word you like for that. This unconditional love is what you're made of. It is what our true frequency and vibration is. So let yourself come home to it as I sing for joy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, ooh. Ayo, ayo. Whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Be in your joy, be in your waterfall of bliss and joy and love. Invite expansion into your being. Invite this vibration of your true essence of this unconditional love Invite it fully into your body, into the energy that makes up your body, to the energy that surrounds your body. Invite it into your life and into your relationships. Open to this joy, to this bliss, to this love. Step fully into your waterfall now. Let that joy cascade down your body, filling your heart, filling your throat, filling your mind, washing away the contractions of the ego, the fear, the doubt, the insecurity, the sadness. Only joy for this moment. Only love for this moment. Invite this love into all moments, past, present, and future. You deserve joy. You deserve love. You deserve expansion and beauty and bliss. Even when things are hard, this love is here. This love is what you are made of. This love is who you are. Let it shine forth. Discard anything that no longer serves this love. You are this love, and anything that's not serving it does not serve you. So let it go. Let it wash away. Let yourself be baptized in this waterfall of unconditional love and light. And know that you can come back here at any time and re-invite this love into your being. As you're ready, very slowly step out of your waterfall, step out of the water. Take a minute and just notice the beauty here. This beauty is you. This is a projection of your beauty. Let yourself feel that for a moment. You can stay in this space. Keep it with you if you'd like. But come fully present into your body now. If you'd like, you can allow that crown chakra to gently close or leave it open for the highest good. And once more, invite that flow of love and bliss and joy through the head into the chest and the torso, into the arms, into the hips and legs and feet. Invite this shift of expansion into all levels of your being, past, present, and future. And affirm with me out loud, I am fully present in my body. I am fully present in my body, and I recognize I am a being of unconditional love. I am fully present in my body, and joy is my birthright. As you're ready, you can begin to move your fingers and toes. Maybe move your head around, shrug your shoulders a few times, just coming back. Carrying this vibration of joy and love forward with you to the rest of this evening and your week. Sitting in stillness and presence and inviting shifts to love, shifts to expansion. Recognizing that your worth is not tied to how much you do or how you look or what other people think of you. Your worth is this inherent beauty and joy and love. Let it shine out from all portions of your being. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Have a joyful rest of your evening and week. And I will see you next week for Wind Down Wednesday.